So I've been working on the barrel tenons to try to get them sanded down. I've been using these files to try to continue sanding down the piece to get it to actually fit inside the groove here. I'm gonna move that. Got to get it to fit inside this groove. So this piece here actually needs a lot of work to get it sanded down to actually fit into the groove. So, I mean, this entire side here is bare. We're going to need to do a little bit of angle work to get it in there because it is slightly angled. But this is turning out to be more of a pain in the butt than I really thought it was, so I'll come back when I get one of them installed. So what we're doing now is we're just in the process of sanding everything down here so that it actually fits through this groove, and that is taking quite a while. So we're gonna take a break from it today and we'll be back tomorrow to finish it up. Alright, we're back day 2. Off screen we decided to just do the barrel tenons and get them installed because that ended up taking a couple of hours to get these things shaved down to fit properly. That was a big ordeal. But next we are going to be drilling the holes to actually get them tamped down in there and get the barrel properly installed, and we will be back whenever we are getting most of the way through that step. Okay, so our next phase is we measured the lines for where we're going to be drilling our pinholes for the tenons. On this one we ended up going 5/8 of an inch, and on the one in the front it ended up being 1/2 an inch down. So now we're going to start drilling the holes in the stock, and we will come back when we have finished that step. Okay, now we have the barrel and everything placed. We just have everything clamped down and ready to drill. So we're going to go ahead and do that step next. So we have made a slight mistake. It should be an easy enough fix, but the hole drilled back here fits perfectly. This one, no problems with this one. But we have drawn a lot of lines on the stock of this thing to mark where other things are supposed to go. And we drilled this one, which was for this part, the thimbles, and we thought that was the hole that we were supposed to drill for the barrel, but that hole is actually up here. So now we need to do some cosmetic repair work, which shouldn't be too big of a problem. We do have a bag of sawdust for such events that happen. So as soon as we get this fixed up, we'll get that patched up and be back on our way back to getting things done the right way. Alright, so we finished this side up over here on the left, and we got the pin installed here. It fits very nicely. We're just going to cover those holes up with some sawdust and super glue to patch that up so it's not visible. Over on this side, we've drilled about halfway through, and it fits very tightly so far. Gonna need to pull this out and get that hammered back down all the way. The barrel is feeling very tight in there. We're doing pretty good so far, and the last thing we're gonna do for this stage of the assignment is get the nose cap installed, which for that, basically all we need to do is tighten that down there and then drill and center punch a couple of holes here just so that it fits into the wood on the bottom. And then we will be done with the barrel assembly for this week's assignment, which is again week 2 of FTT 210, and we'll be back next week to do some more work on this thing. Moving on to the final step of this week's assignment is getting the nose cap installed. So what I've done is I've just kind of tapped it down onto here with my mallet here just to see where it's going to fit. And what we're going to do next is we're going to drill the brass through to the wood that's on the inside so that it actually will hold down. And then that's about all we're going to do for that. This should be one of the easier steps. The barrel actually turned out to be much more, not difficult, just tedious. We do have a couple of mistakes that we made along the way that we're going to need to patch up, but again, it's nothing too major. And then I believe next week we are going to be doing the installation of the trigger properly. And then after that we do final adjustments, function check, and then move on to detail work. But everything's rocking and rolling and we are almost done. So moving on to the nose cap, what we have done is we've made marks on the nose cap for where the screws are going to go. And all we need to do now is actually get it installed. So we have these little brass screws right here that are we need to drill through here and center punch, which is going to be a bit difficult because there is not a lot of material to work with on either the brass or the wood end. So basically going to have to do this in one shot. We'll be back when we're done. So we used a center tap to tap a hole in the brass. Then we drilled a bit through so that we could get the nose cap on. Everything feels pretty nice and tight. Could have drilled a little bit deeper, but because of how thin the brass and the wood on the other side are, we didn't want to do too much, because if we drilled too far, we would have just broken it. So this is about as good as we're going to get for this. For the rest of this week's assignment, we've done the barrel installation, the thimble installation, and the nose cap installation. And that's everything that we needed to do for week 2 of FTT 210. And we will be back next week to do the proper trigger installation and getting everything finalized. And then I believe in the final week we do function tests and then move on to detailing. But that's it for this week.